One of the men accused of killing Jacksonville rapper Julio Foolio is asking for a forensic neuropsychologist.
The defense is preparing for a possible insanity defense. News4Jax reporter Aaron Farrar is live. And Aaron, the attorney says this should be treated like a death penalty case.
Rashad Murphy's attorney filed this motion on his behalf. It is asking the court to hire a forensic neuropsychologist to put together a pretty comprehensive report on Murphy. Investigators say Murphy is one of the people who shot Julio Foolio. Rashad Murphy was arrested after a SWAT standoff at the Collins Preserve Apartments back in July. If granted, Murphy would undergo an extensive clinical interview as well as psychological testing. This process would also review Murphy's school records, his employment history, hospital and medical records, and interviews with people close to Murphy. The state has already announced it is considering the death penalty in the case.
Stop!
3 other people, all from Jacksonville, are charged in connection with the shooting. It was caught on camera outside a Tampa hotel where Foolio was celebrating his birthday. Police are still looking for Murphy's cousin, Davion Murphy, in connection with the shooting. And as I mentioned, prosecutors in this case are still considering whether to pursue the death penalty against all 5 people who are facing charges right now in connection to Julio Foolio's murder.
You shot great, but you shot late. High level. This is the Rundown Podcast.
I'm gonna give you the rundown.
Say, man, hey, man, it's OG Jucario. Now, back at you with another one. And I had to come slide on the YouTube block because one of the murder suspects in the murder of Julio Foolio is now pleading insane, you guys. With this insanity plea that Rashad Murphy, him and his lawyer has filed with the court, right? Now we see what type of game Rashad Murphy and his lawyer is playing, because when Rashad Murphy had that 4 to 6 hour standoff with the police, and it was assumed that he was talking to his girlfriend, and it was alleged that he said he wanted to take his life, right? In that 4 to 6 hour interval that he was standing off with those officers, and they finally got him to come out. He was holding a puppy dog in one hand and a Bible in the other, right? And they forced Rashad to get down on the ground and crawl to him at gunpoint, to which that's when Rashad was saying he couldn't breathe, but he was steady talking while he was saying he couldn't breathe. But at the same time, they arrested Rashad, so I'm pretty sure, you know, that threat that he made over the phone allegedly to his girlfriend that he wanted to off himself during that standoff is what Rashad Murphy is going to attempt to use, right? And try to get this insanity plea. So the court is supposed to be appointing a neuropsychologist to study this guy's mind, to analyze Rashad Murphy's mind and make sure he's of sound mind and body and of soul to, you know, be competent to stand trial, you guys, right? So this is what the defense for Rashad Murphy is asking. You know, hey, we need this guy checked out because we feel something is definitely wrong with Mr. Murphy. But we got to understand this. They're going to talk to people that's close to Murphy to see if he's, you know, really cuckoo or not, right? They're also going to look at Rashad Murphy's background in school, right? And try to see if he had any signs of being held back, or was he in any type of special needs classes, you guys? Or was he in remedial classes? Did you stay in that one classroom all day and wear that helmet, right? That's crazy. Now, if he's indeed found crazy and insane, you know, this could be a big win for Rashad Murphy to dodge that, you know, that death penalty, because that seems what, you know, Rashad is trying to do here. He's trying to dodge that death penalty because, you know, these accused shooters, the killers of Julio Foolio, are indeed, in fact, facing the death penalty. So, you know, I can see why he's trying to, you know, maneuver his way out of that death chair, you guys, that lethal injection, or however they're doing it these days. But I know for a fact that, you know, Rashad Murphy is trying to use this insanity plea because he was the only one that, you know, as we know, was making threats to off himself while doing a 4 to 6 hour standoff with these authorities there in Jacksonville, you guys. So, you know, this is what I see, you know, the basis for Rashad doing this plea behind, okay? Now, do I believe the courts are gonna go with this insanity plea and let Rashad off that easy? Well, I don't believe so, because they have all kind of evidence, as we already know. If you've been keeping up with the case, they already said Rashad Murphy was using the other defendants' phones. That's right. And calling his girl and sending messages saying that his thirst has been quenched. Right? See, all this stuff is premeditated talk, right? These are things that you're coherently saying, okay? You're in your right sound mind when you're doing these things and texting and calling. And he even drove to Georgia in the murder vehicle that they did the shooting in, okay? So, you know, with him doing all this and checking into a room out there in Georgia and running from the cops when stopped, right? When they apprehended that vehicle and then apprehended him, okay? So now that we know all this here, you know, this doesn't seem like a person who was insane. This seems like a person who was just an idiot, a moron, a nincompoop, right? A dummy. Right, so this is what the category that, you know, Rashad Murphy should have motioned to file up under. You know, hey man, I was just stupid, right? Insane has nothing to do with it at this point. I mean, in my point of view. Yeah, so I believe the judge is going to look at this plea and say, well, how can you plead insanity when you're just as involved as the other defendants in this case, Mr. Rashad Murphy? I mean, you're doing all this, you're doing all that, you're going down to Tampa and getting rooms at a Airbnb. You know, you're planning for the murder. Hey, man, it's just not going to work with you trying to get an insanity plea. This plea deal, you know, for insanity, we're going to fall right through the cracks. Because at the same time, this guy knew exactly what he was doing and what his cousin, Davion, who is still on the run, you know, they know exactly what they both conspired, right, with Sean Gaithright and Isaiah Chance, and the female, the mother of Isaiah Chance's children, and she was also pregnant at the time when this took place, Alicia. Okay, so ain't no way around it, man. The death penalty is on the table. And Rashad Murphy, there's no way for you to get around this, my guy. You have to face the facts that, you know, you are, you know, of sound mind and body, okay, and perfect mind when you did this crime, okay? There wasn't no insanity involved. Only thing that was insane is you thinking that you was going to get away with this whole ordeal. Now look at you, trying to plead insanity to get up out of the murder of Julio Foolio. Now, by a wild chance that the courts say, okay, well, something is wrong with this guy. You know, this guy is kind of throwed off. Okay, let's just say, you know, hypothetically speaking, maybe if, you know, the other defendants find out that this guy indeed was granted this insanity plea and that's what he's going to ride with for his defense, I'm pretty sure we shall see some of the other defendants try to use this same strategy and maneuver an insanity plea as well to try to duck that death penalty that will be issued down by the state. Okay, so y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comment section, man. Will Rashad Murphy get his insanity plea like he wants and dodge that old death penalty or not? Y'all let me know. And until the next time, this is OG Jucario TV with the latest in rap, hip hop, celebrity, and urban news. You're watching the Rundown Podcast. I appreciate everybody for spinning with me. I appreciate all my subscribers for sliding with your boy every time. And say, man, hey, man, keep hitting that like button, keep hitting that subscribe button, and look, turn on post notification so we can slide whenever I get the drop. You already know what it is, man. It's deeper than Buddha, you hear me? And guess what? I'm gone.